obviously the Tack looks very different. This is an English saddle, and this is a Western saddle. So Indy's gonna be our little English horse for the day, so I'm gonna start. So first you need a saddle pad. This is just a saddle pad I'm using. It's a GP saddle pad for like jumper kind of saddles, and you don't need it to be fancy or anything like that, but this is just the color I decided to use. So these are the withers right here, and up here is where you're gonna wanna put the saddle pad. So you're gonna throw it up there. And you want it to have some space up in the top so it doesn't pinch them. And then for Indy's saddle, it doesn't fit her quite right, so I have to add a little extra padding. So this is called a half pad. You don't necessarily need this, but it just depends on the saddle and how it fits the horse. That goes on the top. It doesn't go underneath the saddle pad. And you want to make sure that there's a nice bit of room up here, like you can kind of stick your hand down in there.
And if you want to make sure, you can slide it up on their neck and kind of glide it down to where it stops, and that is, yeah, where it goes. Also, these Velcro straps are always at the front of the saddle pad. So
I just put my girth up here. So this is my saddle. This is what it looks like. So you just sort of throw it up here nicely. Set it on them gently because you don't want to throw a saddle up on their back. And then you really want to make sure to hike up and make sure there's space in between them. And it should be sitting nicely on their back like this. And then you get your girth. My girth is a little different. It has the elastic ends on one end and not on the other end. And mine's a little broken, but that's okay. So usually, you're gonna lift this up, and you're gonna see 3 straps. You're gonna wanna put them on the outside straps, out here. So, and then this little thing down here on your saddle pad is what your girth goes through. So you're gonna put your girth through there, maybe. And then you're supposed to put it up here where the rolling thing is, but mine is broken, so I put it in the middle. And then it depends on how tight you're gonna put your saddle. I'm gonna start on hole number 3, 4, sorry. Okay, and then these things are gonna help to keep your saddle up. So they're just elastics. I'm not elastic.
it keeps your saddle pad from sliding away.
Yeah, because if you don't, the saddle pad's gonna go all the way out and then it's gonna be uncomfortable. I just put it right here because I have this neck strap on it, but there's also this little ring that you could put it to. I also like to put my half pad one on because sometimes there's long ones like this that are right here, and then sometimes they're like this. If they're the short ones, I like to do the half pad as well, and I just put it under the first little leather bit right there, and it doesn't have to be tight or anything, and then you just leave that be. Now we go to the other side. I still like to make sure that it's like nice over here. I know, baby. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on this side. So you're gonna make sure that these go through here. And can you hold this up? You're gonna make sure these go through here. It's kind of tight. And then I put it through the top over here. And to start with, I just make it really loose, like really loose. Because when horses, they tend to like blow air into their gut, and then it makes them not be able to tighten it all the way. So once they move, it'll tighten it up. Then I'm gonna go under my straps, put it on the first one and just Velcro it. And then I'm gonna put this here.
Most of the time you do want to put it to your D ring, but Ava has a strap here, so.
One thing, this is kind of irrelevant, but I'm gonna show you how you do your stirrups too. So you're gonna undo them like that, and then I'm gonna ride in them. And then once you're done with your riding, you're going to slide your stirrup up the back, and you're gonna put this in there, and that's gonna hold your stirrup up so it doesn't dangle. But that's just what you do. And then, you don't have to ride with these, but like for if you're jumping or really anything and you want them to have leg protection, these are just simple, like literally they're like super soft. They're just to make sure that their legs don't do this together, and they're just called brushing boots. So I'm gonna show you how to put those on.
There's tons of different boot types that you can have. You can have like swim boots.
But we just got these simple ones. They just look like that on the inside, and they just have Velcro. The way you're gonna, so it's kind of like backwards J or a J, whatever. And so I think this one goes on this side.
Yeah.
So
You always want your
you're
Velcro
gonna-
going towards your tail.
Yeah. So you're gonna see the big spot is gonna go right here, but on the inside. So you're gonna put that there, and you don't want it to be like down here. And you want it to be right. You want that circle bit to be right here on the inside. Then you're gonna do this, and you're not really gonna make them too tight. You don't want them too tight, but like. And then I'm just gonna take my Velcro and go. It's basically gonna use all the Velcro. And then you want your Velcros to be pointing towards your tail, and just put them on like that.
You're gonna make sure you can fit at least a finger in there, and make sure it can't go up and down.
You're probably not gonna get it too tight. You just don't want it to be too loose that it like goes everywhere. I guess I can do this one from this side. Okay. And then this one, it's the other way. This way. Hi, baby. Pretty good. You're gonna stay over there, and you can me from the other side. So I'm gonna take this big part, and it's gonna go right here,
Up a little way.
up a little bit. Sometimes I like get in there, and then I realize that it needs to be up or something. 1, 2, and there are our brushing boots. Last part, what you need is your bridle.
English bridles are a lot different than Western
A
bridles.
lot different. There's a lot more varieties with a Western bridle than there is an English bridle. So you just have your brow band, and then you have your nose band.
Here we have a Western bridle.
There's
This
a big
is
difference.
a contesting bridle, like a nylon one. A lot of times in Western you have leather bridles with like split reins where your reins are long and leather, and there's 2 of them
We'll
instead of
talk more
one.
about the Western bridle.
But we'll show this later.
This is your English bridle. I have a 3-piece bit in. There's lots of different things for bits. It's crazy. So it's just a little O, and then this thing inside, and it's 3-piece, and then this is your nose band. Andy, he's kind of frustrated right now. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to put this on her real quick, and then you guys will be ready to go on your first English ride. So you have your reins. I'm just gonna hold them in my arm over here. You're gonna put, horses don't have teeth back here, so they can't bite you.
So hold your bridle in one hand.
You're gonna hold your bridle in your right hand. You're gonna take your bit like this, and you're gonna make sure that nose band is out of the way. Put your thumbs back here and slide it on. Slide these over her ears. I know, baby, you're so cute. I know. Fix her forelock. And then what do you do with the nose band? The nose band's gonna go over her head. And then, and then you're gonna slide these in right next to the bit.
Inside.
Inside the bridle, not out here. Slide them right inside the bridle, and then you want to make sure it's straight.
These holes right there.
Oh yeah, there's little holes. And then you're gonna take it down here. Indy, I've been riding with a very loose nose band. So if you don't really know what you're doing, just ride with a loose nose band.
Some horses never have had a nose band, and so they don't know the feeling of things on their nose. When we got Indy, she never had a nose band on, so that's why we do it loose.
So I just put it, I'm just gonna put it on like hole 3, and then I'm gonna slide it in there, and it's really loose.
You always want to make sure you can fit at least a couple fingers in there.
And then the last bit of your bridle, you don't necessarily, some bridles don't have this, but
Especially Western bridles.
yeah. But there's this little piece over here, and it's called your chin strap,
Throat latch.
throat latch, chin strap,
Chin
whatever.
strap, throat latch.
There's lots of different names for it. And so you don't want this to be too tight. This is just gonna hold on your bridle because sometimes people could just whoop and bring it off the ears if this thing wasn't on. So I'm just gonna put it on like hole 3, and you just wanna, it's just
You want to
needs
be able to fit a fist
not over
in
there. Like it's
in
just need
her-
to be loose down here. It could probably be tighter, but I like to put mine kind of loose because it's not coming off the ears anymore because it's gonna do that. And then you just throw your reins up there, and there you go. This is how you tack up English. I have to say, Indy looks beautiful in this blue. Don't you have to say?
Yep.
But yeah, that is how you tack up English. Elon's going to show you how to tack up Western and what the differences are versus English and Western. I honestly think English is probably easier to tack up.
Yeah.
Not necessarily easier to ride in though. So now Elon's going to go and tack up Sophie Western.
Let's tack up Sophie now. She's our little Western horse today. And so just as we did in English, oh, that's one way to do it. We are going to start with my saddle pad. There's a lot of different saddle pads, but I'm using this thicker one where it has multiple layers of fabric, and it has this little bump right here for her withers to go in, just because I like riding her in a thicker one. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. It's a lot easier when you have this little bump right here, because you can put that directly on their withers. So we're just gonna make sure that is good, and also get their mane out of there. Sophie doesn't like being tacked up very much, so just don't mind. Next up, we have her saddle. Now there's a lot of components to this saddle that you kind of just have to chuck over the edge. So I'm gonna grab this.
She'll explain them when she has it on.
Usually,
All the pieces.
what side do you usually put a saddle up on?
The left?
The other side.
The other side.
The left. The left side.
But we put it on all sides.
Yeah.
It's whichever side is closest to us. So I don't know who undid my girth, but I'll show you how my latigo is usually. But I would just take your stirrup, put it on your horn, take everything else, and flip it over the edge. And then, fly just flew in my ear. Gently toss your saddle up. And then wiggle up your saddle pad. And then you can put everything back down. So you want to make sure your girth, your breast collar are all down here. Now let's go to the other side and do everything up. So on Western saddle, usually one side of things is on at all times. Now I'm going to flip my stirrup up, and most of the time, this is how my latigo is. It's folded up neatly like this, and so you can just pull the tail like that. So you just take your latigo about a fourth of the way down probably, and fold it under, tuck it up here, and then just pull them out until they're even. So that's how I do my girth. Latigo, sorry. So I'm going to reach under here and take my girth and just pull it under here. I'm going to stick my latigo through the girth and thread it through slowly. And then we're going to thread it through again and again. You just thread it through top and bottom, and you want to make sure it's not twisted. And now sometimes, I'm going to show you two methods. One method, if your latigo is, say, too long or doesn't have enough holes, you can tie a knot. So once you stick it through the top again, you bring it to the side, you make a 4, see, 4, and then you stick it back up the other side, up, and then you stick it through the hole. That is your knot, and then you just pull this last loop tight, and that's your knot. So on this saddle, I don't do a knot because it fits her. So I'm going to stick it through the top one more time. Stick it through the bottom. It's a little hard because I just tightened it. So you never want to tighten your saddle until you get all your loops done. So then you will leave it sticking out the bottom. And you want to pull not out. Out is not going to tighten your saddle. You want to pull up and use your leverage to tighten it. And then just put it on the hole.
And the nice thing about Western saddles, I'm coming in, your stirrup can be held by yourself. Like when I was holding up the flat, I had to hold it up with my head. But the difference is there's a horn up there that you put your stirrup on. So that's one of the differences.
Some Western saddles have this little latigo keeper. Some don't. So if they don't, or your latigo is too short like mine right now, you just
slide it through there.
Stick it in there, or you can thread it through here, like so.
I like to thread it through here though.
I like it through here because it's not in your way.
The only reason you want it threaded up like that, because if it is dangling, sometimes it's longer, it'll whack her torsion the legs, and it's just annoying. So it's just nicer and neater to keep it up there.
I'm gonna put my stirrup back down because we're all done at the girth area. We're gonna reach over the side of her neck and grab my breast collar And the breast collar on the other side is hooked on this D-ring.
Kind of like the English saddle would be, like the little safety Velcro bits.
And there's always a middle part of your breast collar. Mine is this metal piece. And you always want that in the center of their chest, okay? So we're gonna tighten that to the other side where you can see that this is in the middle. Then we're gonna come around here and we're going to thread this through the D-ring.
See how it's sat in the middle right there?
You don't want it too tight, so I'm just going to put it on 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe, and see. You want it to be even, so that looks about even, and it has enough space. You want it to have quite a bit of space. So now I'm going to get this part, which is my clip, and hello baby. We're going to crouch down and clip it. This girth is a little wonky, so I could clip it on this one right here, which would make it a little bit too loose right there, that she could get her leg caught. So we are going to reach it back. And some girths, don't have this, but mine has a second one, and we're going to clip it on that second one. So now it has enough space where she can move.
The only reason Elon didn't put it on the first one is because it's a little loose, and you can get your, like, sometimes maybe get like a foot up in there or get caught somehow. You just don't want it too loose because you don't want it. Because horses will find a way to like, somehow get hurt.
You want to have it tight enough so it can not get a foot in there, but you also want to have it loose enough that they can fully extend. So this, I forgot to tuck it in, but you can tuck it through your keeper again. And so everything's tightened up on my saddle. Let's put her boots and bridle on. Two kinds of boots that we're gonna put on Sophie today. And you most definitely could do bell boots in any type of riding, English or Western. We just didn't put those on Indy because she doesn't have shoes. But
I feel like you could also use bell boots if you don't have shoes, because it will just protect like this part of their foot. But one main reason you have bell boots is so that when a horse is running, they don't step on the back of their shoe. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the shoe and how it has these two veins. They can step on those and they'll pry it off. So these are gonna help protect that.
so we're gonna take this. Actually this one's for the other foot. It doesn't really matter, I guess, what bell boots you put on what foot, but I always make the Velcro like go to the outside kind of. So this would be on this foot. So you want to put the Velcro part to the front of your horse's foot. So wrap it around their foot and Velcro it on pretty loose. And so you can fit a couple fingers in there. That way you can see it covers up the back of her shoe, and then the Velcro is just in the front. So we are going to put that on the other side. All good. And then these are called split boots. A lot of people use these when they're barrel racing or anything really. So I'm going to unvelcro them. Don't know what foot this is on. Oh, okay, this is this foot. So you always want the Velcro on the outside, and you want it to go towards the tail.
One thing how I remember.
Yeah, the stitching, whatever side the stitching is on. This
So it's on the right side.
It's on the right.
So it goes on that leg. Whatever side your stitching is on.
No, Ava, this is on the left side. Left.
This is on the right, if you're riding with your right. That's on the right side.
Ava, this is the left. Look. Look.
I have disagreement.
Left.
But if you're looking this way, it's on the right
This
side
one
of the
goes on
boot.
this way.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, just don't listen to us.
No.
Whatever
So you can decide which, if you think this is right or left. I think this is the left side of the boot, but whatever.
Anyways,
Whatever side the stitching is on. There you go. These are not required for like an everyday ride.
but we're gonna put them on today.
Show you
So
guys.
this little symbol right here that some boots have, these are from Tactical Equine, is gonna go on the front, and then it has a little bit of like a carved out scoop, and that is going to go on the bone back here. So I always do the top Velcro first, and then I just Velcro these on and get them pretty tight. And then this bottom Velcro is going to wrap around the bottom and come around the front. And this is pretty tight, so I'm just gonna leave it. but sometimes you're gonna have to redo your Velcro to get them how you want. And now I'm gonna do the other.
And the bottom strap down there is gonna help support like down here.
These are actually very nicely done. So we're gonna put this on, slide it down to the bone, wrap the first, the second, the third,
Oh, there you go.
and then wrap the fourth one around, and then I'm gonna redo these.
Because they were a little
they were a
tight.
little
I mean,
long.
like too close to the top.
And then I can still fit a finger and a finger. And so these are ready. You wanna make sure they can't slide up and down.
And that they're not too low, like down here.
Yeah, or too high, like up here. You don't want them on this bone right here.
Yeah, not this bone.
So we're gonna put on Sophie's bridle and then we'll be done. So this is Sophie's Western bridle. There's a lot of different Western bridles you can have, but this is the one we're using today. So this is a 1-ear nylon bridle. It just has, this is called an egg butt, I think. It's actually an English bit, but
Mine is a leather and it has a brow band.
yeah. So there's a lot of ones. But this is just an egg butt. It has a curved strap. I don't think you need a curved strap for this bit, but anyways, my reins are clip-on reins, if you can see right here. So they just clip on my bit. And so we're just gonna put this on Sophie. So I'm just gonna undo her from the things. Our horses never run away, but if you're at a show or something, it's nice to put your reins over your head and undo your halter. If you are at a show or your horse is out in the open and will run away, you can always put your halter around your neck like that so you have a hold of them. But I'm gonna grab this with my right hand, grab my bit, again like the English one, and just press against her teeth. She's really good at putting her bit in. So we're just going to stick her one ear in there, like so, and then just stick in her other ear. And that is how you put on this Western bridle. It has no throat latch, no chin strap to do, and so that is it. Surely I could definitely pull this off. That has happened to me before. While I'm going along, Piper actually has shaken off her bridle to like that, but that's just how Western bridles are sometimes. Some of them do have a throat latch. None of them really have a chin strap, but some of them have a nose band, brow band. But this one's just a simple one. So yeah, that's how you tack up English and Western, and I hope you enjoyed and learned from that. And we're gonna go ride our horses now. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.